Well, here we are, Brad, with another lineup and another rerun. And I'll tell you what, we're losing a few numbers in the Superlight class, aren't we?
Yeah, but the good news is we've got Richard Markenbarrett. He is allowed to start from pit lane, so he had the off in the first one. So awesome to see. He is going to be able to make a start from pit lane as we watch the wobbly 400 of Dennis Charlotte away and out in the front with the Kramer of Jacob Stroud in second place. Looks to be the 68 Chris Huddleston in third place. So the Superlight boys have got away clean. Johnny Lewis there in fourth place as well. And then the Biggles Racing IM 250 of Jason Hearn into first of the 125 GP class at the moment. But then you see Yanni Shaw, that Kalex KTM Moto 3 bike up the inside of the John Jones steel left-hander already.
So good to see as we take our lineup, remembering, of course, Dennis Charlotte wanting to get some more points back in this class. He was pipped by Chris Huddleston last week, but Chris, the first thing he said in the interview was, well, he would really have liked all of the championship to be at Ruapuna. Two reasons for that. One, he had the faster bike and it was the faster track. The other one was it was his home track, and he felt that coming down here would just literally hand that advantage straight back to Dennis Charlotte. So there we go. Can Chris Huddleston, sitting on the maximum points, bring it home on that Yamaha 450? We're about to find out as the field unleashes here at the moment. So there we go, checking it out. Mr. Jacob Stroud out in front though from Dennis Charlotte. Chris Huddleston, he's our Superlight hero, and nice to see up here. And we won't see him. We've got both Jesse and Caleb here with us at the moment, but big brother Jacob's out on the racetrack at this stage. Jesse, what's he got to do to stay in front of those other bikes, because they arguably are a bit more powerful than his, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose he's just got to ride harder and yeah, just push it real hard, and if they get past, hopefully get them just before the line.
All right, neat. So you think his advantages are on the corner rather than the straights?
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Oh, nice work. Nice work. Oh, here's Jesse thinking about his racing. Caleb, you come up here and watch Jacob. I'm sure Jacob's the one at the table that does more talking than anybody else, doesn't he? Is he the one that's always talking about Jacob Stroud?
Yeah. He's always talking about something, but yeah, keeps the dinners interesting, I guess.
I'm sure he does. Are you learning from him and everything that he's done in racing? Perhaps what are some of those best features you're learning from him?
Yeah, a lot. Jacob's actually learnt from my dad, and yeah, I learned from him as well, and yeah, just starting on the slow bike and just from there.
Well done too, and it's lovely to have them here. Three members of our Stroud family, and there's a number of times when they've all been in the box here together, or there's the likes of the Jixers when you've got both Jesse and Caleb, who we've just talked to, who are out on the racetrack, and now they're 9 times father hero of New Zealand Superbike Road Racing Championship is the one that we're watching big brother Jacob out on the racetrack this time. And Brad, can Jacob hold on to it? He's got a little bit of a buffer there.
Yeah, he has done very well. He gets out of the corners quite well on the 690 Kramer, the single-cylinder KTM engine, and he said the bike's really good on the side of the tyre. So these are sweeping big sweepers, and McKissick curve especially, just when that Kramer's on the side of the tyre, that's when it's performing the best in the Superlight class. But the legendary Dennis Charlotte in second place on the wobbly 400. He'll definitely want to argue with this one. This is only an 8-lapper, and they've done 2 of them already. So Chris Huddleston back in a little bit of a lonely third at the moment, but then the battle I've been keeping an eye on is this 125 250 GP mono awesome battle there. 4th, 5th and 6th on track, but this is a separate class, so they're 1st, 2nd and 3rd, and it looks like it might have been the Kalex, the double 6 motorsport team of Yanni Shaw in there, but that looks like the 125 maybe of Daniel Jenkins has moved up on Jason Hearn there, so definitely keen to keep an eye on as see Daniel Jenkins just run off in the S's, so just run straight through the S's, so unfortunately he's just given that position back to Jason and made that now just a 2-way battle.
I tell you what, luckily he ran through it the way he did, Brad, because he quickly recovered and got back out on the tar seal, so he's done a superb job there to have recovered from that one. From the point of view of at least he didn't go down, so if you're going to lose it, then quickly straighten it up, cut straight across the grass, don't hit the brakes, don't try and corner on it, because then you automatically rejoin up with the track, and maybe that was the lesson to be learned from Richard Markham-Barrett when he did his exit at the bus stop here earlier in that first part of this race. So there we go with Jacob, Dennis and Chris out there. Then looking to Yanni, Daniel and Jason. This is so good to watch, and these guys getting better and better. And nice to have the Aussie contingent. They've stayed with us for the what we call the double headers. That means back-to-back racing, weekends apart here in New Zealand. These tracks only 150 kilometres from each other. You can internationally get flights into Christchurch, which is where we were based last weekend, 150 kilometres down the road. They'll be racing here at Timaru. They can easily get back to the airport on Monday and be back home in Australia, ready to go to work on Tuesday. Effectively, they've only been over here for 10 days and have had what by the time all this comes to the end, it would have had only 6 good races. So, okay, so thank you. Well picked up here. Thank you to Mickey's just advised us that Dennis is on the 650 Suzuki and not the wobbly bike. So the wobbly's playing up now. You might see this name wobbly, folks, but the man who's a mechanic and the, I suppose you'd say the engineer behind it, his nickname is Wobbly. So that's why the wobbly name comes about. You're not going to call it the wobbly bike because it is that. It's just an appropriate nickname to come through there. So that's a good advantage. At least we can see now that Dennis can keep his points going. But I tell you what, and that may be why there's a little bit of a buffer for Jacob Stroud, because I'm thinking that the wobbly was going to catch Jacob. It is a more powerful bike, the Mega Motorcycle Centre wobbly Yamaha, than the Jacob's bike was. But there you go, looking to the fact that it's only now back on the 650 twin and not quite so much the power that he might have had otherwise. Chris Huddleston in that 3rd place. But yeah, loving our Aussie boys that have come over here to do some racing. Yanni, certainly the best of those, along with Taran. And we've got Mark in there as well. And also to Marek. So there we go. That's your lineup from their 125 with most of those guys on their appropriate 250 monos, Brad.
Yeah, and that gap is down well under a second, so 0.2 of a second. That battle for first in the 125 250 mono class. And it's a crash at the finish line there, so we've had someone run off the crash. And down. He's up and okay, so an awesome recovery there with a crash across the finish line. That's one of the 250 boys. As we keep an eye on the battle, this is the Kramer still in the lead with Jacob Stroud leading Dennis Charlotte, who we've been told is on the 650 Suzuki Twin in 2nd place. So they've got a decent enough buffer as they head into the hairpin over Chris Huddleston, who was leading earlier on today. So we're not sure what's happening with Chris there, but good stuff. Jacob Stroud in charge of this one. Dennis Charlotte right on the back of him, and then back to Chris Huddleston in 3rd place in the Superlight class.
Well, I'll tell you what, that was absolute textbook. Had the opportunity to witness that crash, and it was almost like in slow motion. The rider literally had his leg pinned underneath. He was on the wet, juicy grass, and he just slid and slid parallel to the track, so he wasn't going off the side of the track. He didn't go into any of the barriers, and he's finally pulled up. He would have been skidding for what I would suggest is about 70, 80 metres on the grass, but he's quickly got up, pulled himself from under the bike and hopped up, I would say, without even feeling any pain on that. So what a recovery. And just to lose it at that point, he's done all the right things, drifting off the track and quickly dropped the bike down. If he'd have tried to fight it, I'm sure he would have gone over into the barrier, and that would have been with a tyre wall much harder and more painful. So great bit of riding. In fact, if we were ever to see a replay of that one, it would be a stunt rider moment of magic. So good recovery as we've been. Brad, I'll tell you what, the attrition rate of this race, we've seen that 3 125s, 3 super lights go down as well in there. So it's only left 3 of our super lights and about 8 of our 125. So it's a battle of attrition.
Yeah, it is. It really is. We've got Richard Markenbarrett. He's up into 9th in the race. He'll be 4th in class. So even starting from pit lane, he's managed to get some valuable points. White flag there. We've got a white flag for Jacob, who's now got a big gap back. It's 1.3 seconds, in fact. So definitely a good ride here from Jacob, who's found his groove and got that Kramer hooked up and with a fastest lap of a 1:08.353. Well and truly in control as he has one more lap.
Well, going back here to the comments of Jesse, who we've been enjoying, because he keeps watching his brother. Are you learning anything from watching Jacob riding, or is it more the fact you're giving him some moral support, Jesse?
Oh, mainly just support.
All right, but if you were able to have a little microphone and he was to have the earpiece, what would you tell him about the way he's riding at the moment? Just what is it, sort of take it easy, you're holding it all right, or what sort of comment would you give him if you were the team boss?
Oh, just stay on and just hold your pace and just don't fall off.
Yeah, don't fall off. There you go. I seem to get a bit of a mirror image. Is that what he's told you about your racing, isn't it?
Yeah, he was telling me about when it was wet, just stay on, just get some points, better than no points.
Yeah, well, great tips going on here. Well done, Stroud family. Loving your support for each other. Good to see. Watching. Here we go, Brad.
Here we go, through the bus stop and into checkered flag. Jacob Stroud will take the win in the Superlight class and then go back a decent gap back to Dennis Charlotte, who comes home in a good 2nd position. Then heading back to 3rd place with Chris Huddleston, who's just cruising home for 3rd place. And then the Biggles Racing team has taken the win, so Jason Hearn has got up, and on the last lap he's taken over 1st place from Yanni Shaw. And then I think, having a look back, the next bike on track to come through was the other Biggles Racing, Campbell Grayling, the number 5, who's his KTM 250 IM bike has had bike trials. He's back on his original 125, and that's a good 3rd place. and first of the 125 two-strokes home. So Campbell Grayling with a good third place in the 125 GP class. Then we head back to the first of one of our Australian boys, Taran Ocean, on the letter O, coming through there on the awesome fluoro yellow bike. He crosses the line in 7th on the track, but that will be 4th in his class. So brilliant stuff. 125 GP 250 mono presented by Mr. Boats right here in Timaru in 74 King Street. So mrboats.co.nz bringing you this 125 GP and super light action. It's awesome to see the 125 two-stroke and 254 strokes battling it out there. And we had ended up 4 finishes in the super light class. Richard, Mark and Barrett ended up with 8th starting from pit lane, and that's 4th in his class. So some very, very valuable points from Richard, and there we go. Coming into the dummy grid, Jacob Stroud already won a 300 Super Sport race today, and now backs it up with a win on the Kramer, the 690 KTM engine inside the Kramer frame, with special thanks to Kramer Bikes New Zealand, Shoesy Health Jewellery, Speedy Leathers, Bridgestone tyres, and X-Lite helmets with GB luggage as well. So brilliant stuff. We'll cross down to Neil, who's got a double podium to get through. Over to you.
We're just going to talk to Dennis while he's got his helmet still on. Why? Because he's about to go out in the sidecar. Back-to-back racing. Did you just want back-to-back racing to make it more of a challenge for you, Dennis?
Oh yeah, if I could go out in every race I would.
Exactly. All right, hey, that race you made hard work for it on that older bike, didn't you?
Yeah, well it is a Pro Twin Stocks SV650, and she's a bit underpowered, so I had to pedal it pretty hard.
All right, the sidecar's waiting for you. The boys have got that in good trim. How's that going today?
Oh, it's going awesome, eh? I can't thank Will and Warwick enough for the opportunity to ride it. It's just a fantastic thing to do.
Well done, mate. We'll let you go and do this next race back-to-back, mate. That's an Ironman performance. Well done.
Thanks, Neil.
Well done. There we go, Dennis Charlotte. So, Dennis, we've got him. Yeah, thank you for the support. Here. Good to see. There he goes so quickly. So we'll get our rest of our super light podium up here as we've got Jacob. Well, he'll go straight to the top spot, and we'll get Christopher. Oh, it's a lovely name, and his mother called him that once when he was a good boy. Don't quite remember when that was, but he can go to the step on the other side, and we'll have an opportunity. Yeah, look at that sportsmanship, fantastic. Well, Chris, that's exactly what you said last weekend. Damn, it wasn't going to be Ruapuna because you knew it would be tighter down here, and these boys might have an advantage. But hey, you stayed with them.
Yeah, it wasn't too far away, so a little bit more work to the bike, and we'll get there. So we just had a little bit of problems getting it onto the straight, really. So. But yeah, we were close.
Right, so this is the tightest of all the 5 tracks. So you would have come to the North Island, haven't you? Because there's some big Hampton Downs, mate. You'd make Jacob Stroud look like he was on a snail.
Home track for Jacob, but and Taupo. No, he goes well up there. He goes well at all the tracks. So I hope to just be there or thereabouts. You know, when you got Dennis and Jacob, you know, both national winners of this multiple classes. You know, just to be on the same steps is great.
Well done, Chris. Great speeching again. Well, Jacob, did I rack you up enough with that comment? Was that enough to fire you up?
Yeah, no, that was a great race out there. I think Dennis is probably one of the rides of the day, I reckon, because I looked at my lap timer and we were consistently in the 8.3s, 8.2s, 8.1s, and just very consistent the whole race. I mean, we didn't do anything silly. We knew what we had to do to win, and yeah, we just did that. And I was just so super impressed and super annoyed to see +0 on my board every lap. I mean, he was riding so well, and yeah, just hats off to him on the smaller bike, and hopefully he can get his one out and going tomorrow, and it'll be another great race, I bet.
Well done. Here. Thank you. Well done. Thank you, guys. Here. Well done. Thank you. 125s. 125. Well, an opportunity here as we take the warm-up for our sidecars to do our double podium because we're our 125, 250 class. Campbell, last week you were, so shall we say, set back a little bit when you lost your 250 and had to go back to 125. But mate, right from practice qualifying today, it's not a bad old bike, that, isn't it?
Oh, it's a pretty good bike. I know it works well on the wet and it works well on the dry now as well. Pretty happy to be on the podium. My first time here in about 2 years, so I'm stoked with that.
Yeah, it is indeed. All right, hey, Team Biggles Racing, an opportunity to be on something as good as that with a great team. Do you feel the team is just as important as your own performance?
The team's awesome. They've put together a couple of pretty awesome bikes. It's a shame that only one of them's running, but the team's awesome. I couldn't ask for any better guys to help me out.
Well done, Campbell. Great result. So here. Well, indeed, this was a similar battle last weekend, but we'll have, I'm sure, Yanni, this is another brand new track for you, and you'll be taking an opportunity to familiarise yourself, but Jason just snuck up on you. Can you get him back tomorrow?
Oh, look, I hope so. He rode a really good race. I knew he was there the whole race, and he was really hard to hold off, but he was the better man at the end of the day, so it was really good fun, and I hope tomorrow we can really have another good crack at it.
Yeah, well done. And to you, Jason, was it just a matter of feeling it was when, not if, or if not when? Do you reckon you were able to do it? What do you think?
Well, I was sort of waiting the whole race. I knew I could make it happen if it was the right timing, and if I did it before the end of the race, then he would have known exactly where to block on the last lap, so I had to make it happen then.
Yeah, well done. Great performance, guys. Hope to see you back here tomorrow. And look at that for timing as we see our sidecars on the start line ready to go. Another quality podium here with our class. Super Lights and our 250, 125 combined group.